Hello and welcome to Ireland Esports Collegiate Spring Series 2025. I am Gib and I am joined by Forday this evening.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Rocket League scene. We are now in week 6 semi-finals area. Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it. So today we're going to have the first match of the upper bracket, which is SETU versus TCD, showing down once again. I think this is the second time they faced each other in this semester or season, I guess. And then we will have the loser bracket. So whoever loses out of those two will be facing off against Maynooth this evening, later this evening. Forday, how are you feeling about SETU versus TCD? I know that this is your first time casting this semester in this season, so how are you coming in as a bit of an outsider to this season? How are you feeling?
Sure, yeah, no, I haven't been here now in almost a year, but I mean, I was a SETU student. I know those players. I know how well they play. My expectation is always going to be them taking a win. You know, they're top tier players. It's always just great watching them play. But you know, just recognizing a few of the names here, I still think this is going to be a good match.
Yeah, I definitely think that the TCD are going to try and give SETU a run for their money, at least. You know, such a strong team, Panda, Shallow, and Tomster. The TCD are definitely going to be wanting to show them that they're here to play, they're here to compete, and they're here to kind of keep themselves within this upper bracket of the playoff stage, of the penultimate round, I should say.
Indeed. Here we go. Players are taking the field now for game 1 of the best of 7.
Best of 7, first kickoff of the first game. It's gonna be a doozy for you. Nuss not quite getting the touch he wanted on that one, and it's gonna be a 5-second goal right at the gate for SETU. Unlucky for Nuss. He didn't quite get the touch on the first ball, and then the second time it came round, not enough power on the clearance. Early goal for SETU, opening potentially the floodgates in terms of goal scoring opportunities here.
Really are, yeah. You know, any chance you give SETU, they're gonna take it and they're gonna score it every single time. But you know, it's only 20 seconds in. There is still a chance. Nuss taking a shot right there. Waffle getting the ball over to the side, but Shallow keeping it close while trying to push down the field. Nuss blocking in the center though. Low boost. Still gets a second touch before the ball hits the ground. Attempt for a clear there. Ball is left. Panda will not leave it. Tries to keep it controlled over the corner. Goes for the touch to put it in, but it is saved on the goal line. And SETU still has control at midfield, taking their time.
Yeah, SETU, once they get into that kind of midfield opponent's backline area, we know we've seen throughout this season that they are so dangerous. They just batter down their opponent's defense and really wait for that crack to show and take full opportunity of it. That being said, TCD are no pushovers. We know what they are capable of when they get into those dangerous positions, like Freeze coming off the ceiling. It's an open net, but who was that getting right there in the nick of time, stopping that from going in, keeping play going, and the counterattack is on from SETU, but a clearance there. Back to Waffle on the sidewall. He's going to pass it to a teammate, but looking like a double commit there from both of the remaining players on the TCD side, getting back just in time for stopping this potential counterattack here. Panda bringing it off the wall, trying to get a little bit of a sneaky double touch pinch, but not quite making anything of it. Freeze with the ball. He's got space. He's got teammates around him, but a nice change of possession there. SETU going to take it, but back again to TCD. They're on target, but sorry, they were off target on the backboard, and somebody there to just snatch that possession. But it seems to me that possession, both of these teams are kind of feeling each other out. They're going for those momentum attacks, but not really anything coming of it just yet. And it is that case of it's a marathon, not a sprint, especially in this best of 7.
100%. Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's first match of a best of 7 series. They're always going to be feeling each other out at the start. They might know each other quite well from playing against each other for so long, but every match is different. And this isn't a super high scoring match yet. 2 minutes left, but Setu does take another goal there, making it 2-0. Shallow went off the sidewall, keeping it close and just over down to Thomas. Tom, sorry, who will put it in the back of the net. Now, just over 2 minutes left on the clock. Setu is up by 2 points in game one, and Tom does knock it over for the kickoff. Nuss trying to keep it close, tries to drop it down, but Setu is just too fast and will clear it out. And again, keeping the ball close, low boost, so he knows he's got to go for those 50s. And definitely does now. Shallow, he's got the boost. Going for the double tap, but is demoed in the air by Nuss. Just shutting that down.
Yeah, and us knowing that when Shallow gets into those dangerous positions, you need to be on the ball, quite literally. And Panda passing it towards his teammate, but not quite getting the touch he needed on that waffle with the ball. And Tom is going to make a nice challenge there, trying to get a good 50, but back towards TCD's goal line potential here if they can't clear the danger. Tom there able to intercept in the critical area. It's looking like SETU are trying to pile on that pressure, and here we see Waffle trying to get a clearance, Freeze also trying to get the touch, try and get it back towards the midfield, try and find space on SETU's defenses. Waffle's bringing it into SETU's corner, trying to get it into the box. Nobody there quite yet to intercept that, get that shot off. Back into SETU's corner. As we all know, a safe space somewhat in Rocket League, but not always the safest when you've got players of this caliber who can get those corner pinches going. Seeming like SETU are almost, they know they've got this game one in the bag. They're going to keep going for goals, but they're not needing to be as aggressive as maybe they were going for at the start of this game.
100%, but aggressivity is not a necessity for these guys sometimes. At the high level of Rocket League, a lot of the time, if you're patient, just wait for that one mistake, and you've locked down all your basic mechanics to the point where you can capitalize every single time. But there's always a chance. But I'd say SETU has taken first game here now with just about 15 seconds left on the clock, and them up by 3 points. But this is only one of best of 7. But TCD does take 1 goal for the road, showing SETU that they are not out of the game just yet. Just proving that they've still got 106 kilometers per hour as well. It's decent speed, though. To be fair, I'm not sure what the standard for Rocket League is nowadays. Just about 10 seconds there left on the clock. SETU wins the kickoff. Panda going for a pre-flip sidewall read off the bat. Ball is up in the air. They can't break rule 1. Somebody has to score. They've got to keep it up. And they try, but SETU isn't able to finish that in. But that is game 1 done. Going to SETU. Potentially 6 more to go.
Yeah, potentially 6 more. It wasn't definitely not as many goals scored as I had expected, at least from SETU, but that's not to say the next game we won't see them, out in full force. Again, going back to that idea of marathon, not a sprint, they were definitely feeling each other out that little bit more in this game. Obviously, they've played against each other. This will be their second time now in this semester, but definitely played against each other last semester as well, and the one before that, and the one before that even. So they know each other well, but it's in those in-between semester type deals where people or teams at least start to figure out new tactics and try them out, especially in that Swiss stage area. But here we go, another kickoff, game 2, 5 minutes on the clock. What can TCD make of themselves? Can they manage to take a game off SETU, or is SETU going to be trying to give them the clean sweep, take this one and run with it?
That's always the question there. And SETU has been known to take clean sweeps from pretty good teams, but you know, they do have a bit of a bad habit, in my opinion, at least, that they do start messing around a bit once they start winning. But you know, we'll see how it goes. You know, 40 seconds into this game, 0-0. TCD going for a great starting shot there with Nuss going for a ceiling. Shallow faking the musty. No boost, goes for the 50, but Waffle is smart there. Patience, takes their time. Make sure to not give it away immediately. Ball's going back towards SETU side. Shallow tries to keep it close, but Freeze was on the wall ready for it. Over to Panda, keeping it close once again. Waffle, again, keeping it close. All these players, they know not to give it away, because if you give it away, then you're just, yeah, a lot of the time, that's a free goal for the other side. But now, Setu, again, going for the fake. Another fake, but Waffle doesn't fall for it. Tom, off the sidewall. Just enough to give it a bit of a touch, and Shallow does follow up. Panda going for the in there. Bit risky, but that's a three-person whiff, I believe it was, on that ball flying down. Which, you know, it happens at every level of Rocket League, even at this high standard. You know, we're just about almost halfway through the game, and still 0-0.
Yeah, a full commit sometimes is the best approach, but in that case, it wasn't. Three men trying for the ball, none of them touching it. And, you know, like you said, it happens at all stages in the Rocket League grind. A lot of these players have gotten that coveted SSL that we all strive to go for, but looking like they're back in the game now, all hitting the ball this time. So love to see it. And going to take it to his own corner, try and play it safe, but Freeze there off the wall, trying to get it towards Setu's back post, not quite getting the touch he needed because the defender was in the way. Waffle not getting a touch on that ball, but was very close to it. Now we see Setu on the counter-attack. TCD trying to play time, get their defenders into those correct positions they need them to be in to stop Setu from scoring goals on them. Freeze going to take it off the wall, but Shallow's going to get a nice 50, pass it back to Panda. He's going to bring it up off the wall. Shallow's there to read that pass, but not quite in a position he wanted it to be in. A little bit too much power on that ball, I think. Back towards Setu. Waffle going to take it off the wall. Freeze, I think, not quite getting there in time. Shallow was there to intercept. But yeah, it's very back and forward at the moment. Neither team scoring a goal just yet. Very close, though. Very close. If Nuss didn't get that extra touch he needed. He missed the first touch and got the second one, but that was very close to just rolling in.
It was indeed. It was indeed. And like you said, this really is much more of a back and forth game. It seems like they are still feeling each other out, because Setu hasn't started their full. Of course, second I say it, the goal is left empty, and Setu is not going to leave that one right there. Tom, I keep having to stop myself from saying Thomas for some reason. Tom is there to knock it into the back of the net. Minute 15 left. Setu up by 1 point, and now TCD winning the kickoff. Ball is on Setu's side. Shallow tries to get it away, and Freeze does get a bump there. Waffle in the air, brings it down over. It's floating up. Panda is patient on the back wall, though, waiting to read it. And now Shallow off the side wall. This is dangerous, but he does go for a bit of a fancy reset right there. Nuss over Panda, over to Freeze. Nuss over again, but Shallow is already back. Shallow is just locked in on defense at all times in every game. You know, if the ball doesn't get past him, if he's there and he's waiting and he's ready. But, you know, as always, there's a chance. 30 seconds on the clock. Trinity just needs one goal to tie it up and bring us to overtime in a game 2 already. Here's Nuss going for it. Bit of a rough angle on the touch, not able to pick up enough power there. And a bit of a double commit there with Waffle running back on low boost. Panda gets a bit of pressure on that touch. 5 seconds left. The ball is over on Setu's side. Is Trinity able to? They're not, with a great last second save there, making it 2-0 for SETU in this best of 7.
Yeah, 2 games up. TCD are definitely going to be feeling the pressure, that's for sure. Not the most dominant performance, I would say. It seemed that SETU were waiting for TCD to make a mistake and just capitalized on that, which gave them the win in that game too. But again, not the most dominant performance from either side. It seemed very, very evenly split 50-50. It was just that one instance of TCD made a slight error on their backline, and Tom was there to capitalize on it.
100%, you know, that's the thing, you know, these are all very high level, high skill ceiling Rocket League players. So it's just going to be those tiny mistakes. That's going to be what gets away the goal. You're not going to see triple flip resets across the field ending with a bust. I actually don't even know if that's impressive anymore, but you know, that's not what you're going to see at this level of gameplay. You're going to see very solid basic mechanics that are used in a great way, and not overly fancy mechanics that, see, that's it right there, you know. Just Shallow was patient. Freeze just made one little mistake there. Panda knocks it mid, and Shallow gets a great shot, 114 kilometers per hour at that angle. Like, sure, if that's not a say of just perfect basic mechanics, I don't know what is.
Yeah, you heard it here first. 4 days telling everybody that's watching, practice the fundamentals, get them down. You'll be just as good as these 2 teams.
100% guaranteed. Oh, that's a great shot from Freeze.
Ooh, that was a nice shot from Freeze. Yeah, like you were saying, just in that position right when his team needed him to be to intercept that ball, and very nicely slotted between the post and the defender there. It's 1-1, even Stevens. 4 minutes left on the clock. We were waffling on about nonsensical stuff as per usual.
As always. And like you said, 4 minutes. We're only 1 minute into this game now, and we've got 2 goals compared to last game, which went quite a while without a single goal. But, you know, here we go. Waffle sending it up. Freeze dodging the ball and going for a demo, I believe that was, or at least a bump. Did not end up working out well. Shallow, he's got the ball close. Almost gets the shot off there from Setu's side, but Nuss is just quick enough to keep it away. And Waffle is there to keep it on Setu's side. Caught a bit awkward there, but the shot was a bit too high. And Trinity was not able to finish that one off. But they are not giving up like that. Freeze with the demo on Panda. Tom gets the first touch, hits the corner, tries to read it, but is a bit low in the air. Doesn't matter though, Shallow will bring it straight back to the corner. Freeze with a great fake, but Panda doesn't fall for it. And also sending it over to the side to stop the free shot for Setu.
Yeah, that was some good defensive work from TCD. Had to think very fast on their toes to stop that from becoming a critical error and letting Setu take the lead once again. Nice bit of defensive work there from, I can't quite see who that was, but yeah, it's seeming again to be this kind of ping-ponged affair of back and forth, counterattack after counterattack from both sides, and just waiting for that opening to show itself, that little bit of a mistake from your opponent, and taking full advantage of it when it comes. Just TCD just getting the touch there, looking like the Setu player was hunting that ball down, and if they didn't get there in time, it would have been Setu in the lead once again. Panda trying to pass it to a teammate in the midfield, but TCD getting the bump on the ball when they needed it, back towards Setu's corner. What can they do with this now? Not much for the time being. Setu just almost playing with their food at the moment, trying to make as many passes as possible and try and confuse the defense on TCD.
That they are, you know. Like I said, Setu will get to a point where they're playing around, but it just doesn't matter with them. They still take the lead with just over a minute and a half left on the clock. Midfield from Tom. Shallow is there to clean it up with a great top left shot. And just once again, Setu is just such a Goliath in the league that it's just hard for them to get beaten, honestly, at any point. But everybody's still gonna try. They're beating this Setu team is a crown that not many people are able to wear, but those who do wear it very proudly. But just over a minute on the clock. Setu still on the attack. Bit of a double commit there. Freeze might be able to finish it, but does knock it over to the corner. Waffle center. Tom does send it way up in the air. I've just now remembered that Tom is Tomster. My brain has been a bit slow now trying to remember all the names.
Yeah, it happens all the time to the best of us. Tom with a beautiful goal there, almost looking like a double commit from TCD's side on that defensive maneuver. They had to try something. It was going in if they didn't, and it was going in if they did. Kind of experience there, but Waffle trying to get a little bit fancy with a flip reset on that one. Trying, but not quite getting past Setu's defense. Looking like Setu are going to take a game 3 now. 30 seconds left on the clock. Freeze trying to be a little bit fancy with it, but not working out in his favor. Again, Shallow being the ever patient attacker, waiting for that moment for an opportunity to open up, just taking the ball off his opponent there and really sending it home, going for gold. 4-1 to Setu now. 22 seconds left on the clock. What can they make of it? A little bit scrappy for a second there off that kickoff. Looked like everybody was going for the ball. Waffle hitting it hard. Back to Nuss on the backboard, but not quite being able to knock it down towards goal line. All TCD players are trying to get another goal, but it's going to be a game 3 for Setu. Looking like the clean sweep is on.
Is indeed, but I just want to say that was a fantastic touch on the backboard there from Nuss. Just absolutely stopping the ball and dropping it down just in front of Setu's goal. That was fantastic. 100%. But now, before we can move on real quick, I just want to give myself a bit of a defense there. Now, I haven't watched a single game this season or last season because I started work after college. So I haven't been able to do it. So that's my excuse. I haven't seen any of these games now in almost a year. So that's my excuse on not knowing the names and the names again. I'm still warming back up to this.
Valid excuse. We'll take it. I, of course, have casted both this semester and the last one, so I've been keeping up to date with players and rosters of teams going on. However, we are waiting for players to join back in for this game 4. TCD have been putting up a good fight. I know that we've been talking a lot about how Setu are going for this kind of clean sweep on their opponent, but that's not to say TCD have been giving Setu a bit of a run for their money. They're getting into those positions where they're dangerous. They're just not. Setu are just have that really solid defense where they're able to clear those balls, but TCD are very close. Nice shot from Waffle there, and managing to almost get a goal, but Setu's defense is just that rock solid. But yeah, again, TCD are not playing badly at all. They are just a bit of an underdog against such a dominant force throughout however many seasons now that Setu have played in collegiate.
100%. But now I just like to say I think I'd actually change my vote, and I think my money's on TCD now because we've got the Lightning McQueen car and we've got an Esper on their side. So skill is nothing in comparison to car choice, and with Trinity bringing out such absolute legends, who needs an Octane, who needs a Fennec? The Esper and the Lightning McQueen are a fantastic duo right there that will guarantee the win. I promise you this. You've seen us already 100% that was because of the car. Winning that, just getting the fake. He's going off the side. I guarantee you at least 7 flip resets. That was just a misclick. Of course, of course. The ball does go back center. Freeze going for it. Gets a 50, knocking it over to SETU's side, but Panda's there to hold it. Now off the wall. Bit of a late jump though, leaving Shallow to get that first touch. Waffle trying to get potentially the double. It drops down on SETU's side, slow and bouncing. Freeze first the ball, a bit low on boost, but he just needs to get it mid. Good patience there. And an accidental bump from Freeze does end up getting a bit of a chance there for Trinity, but they are not able to capitalize on it. Whereas SETU is on the attack, but never mind that. Sorry, Trinity is going for it again. It hits the crossbar from the second touch. Waffle does get the goal though, giving Trinity the lead with just over half the game left. If they can hold this lead, then there's a chance we're going to another game. But if SETU does make the comeback, I believe that it's a series over.
Yeah, it's definitely the novelty cars are giving them that little bit more of an edge. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use an Esper in Rocket League before. So definitely a little bit at a loss for words on that choice, but yeah, definitely the Lightning McQueen is giving SETU or TCD that overall edge in this game. In this game 4 of a best of 7. TCD really going for it, really hunting down an extra goal. They know that they need a little bit more wiggle room against an opponent like SETU. But looking like SETU are on the counter-attack. Panda trying to almost fake his opponent into going for a 50 on that one. Back into SETU's corner. Freeze on the ball, but Tom in the way, stopping that, getting a body in front of the ball, stopping the shot from becoming an opportunity. It's going to get a touch, but not quite enough. Back towards TCD's side for the time being. Shallow trying to get a little bit fancy, trying to fake out his opponent with a dribble there, and it's going to be a goal for TCD. The comeback is on. The Esper has done it. Freeze with a nice goal from just behind the midway point of the pitch.
Has indeed. I do believe I did call it there now. It is the card choice that is all that matters in the end. If you are hard stuck in Diamond, hard stuck in Champ, you need to switch off the Octane, switch off the Fennec, switch off the Dominus if that's your style. You need to go for the odd ones, the fancy ones. Esper is a great choice. I'm particularly partial to the Proteus. It's a bit of an ugly car, so it kind of just intimidates them all. So, the little grabbies on the front are also great for getting to the ball first, of course. But, it is 1 minute left on the clock. SETU is 2 goals behind. We'll see if they're going to fully lock in now or if they're going to keep having a bit of fun and playing around because they are still way ahead in the series. It is 3-0 to SETU in the series. So now 40 seconds on the clock. Shallow off the wall, knocks it mid. But is low on boost, isn't able to follow up. Panda does get beaten there. It goes into the corner. Waffle going for the first touch, but isn't able to get it. Tomster, I remember the name now, knocks it mid to Vanda, who knocks it over further into the corner. Shallow going for the second touch. He gets it. Freeze knocks it mid, and Tomster is able to finish it off. 19 seconds on the clock. SETU is down by 1. If they win this, they make the comeback. The series is over. But we'll see if they're able to do it.
Yeah, this next kickoff is going to be crucial as to whether SETU are in a position to take this to an overtime, the first overtime of the evening, or is it going to be a game win for TCD? Not a great kickoff for SETU's advantage. Back towards their own goal line. They've got 3 TCD attackers, but beautiful save there. Just in the nick of time, 6 seconds on the clock. The countdown is on. Who is going to get a touch on the ball? Are they going to let it drop? There it is. TCD are going to take game 4. It is now 3-1 to SETU in this series. Potentially a lifeline for TCD.
100%. We'll see now from my short stint, yeah, in playing in this series before I did the casting, I will, just that one game loss can affect the mental a bit, but it is SETU. You know, they're the champions for a reason. We'll see if they are able to make the comeback. You can see Nuss there. I'm not sure if it'll show up, but Nuss there offering a full battle bus lobby. We'll see if everyone is able to take that. I say able because the battle bus. I'd say a lot of accounts nowadays don't have it. I never grabbed it. That was before my time, but that would be a great match. Everybody in the battle bus. I personally that my vote is for that.
Yeah, as somebody who bought Rocket League back in 2016, paid full price for it. I don't even have the battle bus. I
Same
had a
as, yeah.
little bit of a hiatus there in the in between years, but definitely would be a matchup for the ages. All battle bus SETU versus TCD. I will say it seems like everybody is having a lot of fun out on the pitch, and that's what we love to see. It's competitive, but also people are able to enjoy themselves when maybe they're not in the most fortuitous position as TCD are this evening. They're 3 games or they're 2 games down now in this best of 7. They're able to switch up their car choices and kind of have a little bit more fun with it. And that's what I love to see in Rocket League is those moments of we're down, we're not out, but we can still have fun and enjoy ourselves.
Ooh. That is truly all that matters in the end, but I think that the players do have a bit of a taste for the winning. And that is a great kickoff right there with SETU taking an early lead just 12 seconds into this game. We are now already on to kickoff number 2. It goes over to SETU's side. Is TCD able to finish it? Tom with a great goal line save there. Now sending it back. Waffle grabbing boost. Slowing the ball down. But SETU's able to get the second touch. Touchdown. Great goal line save there now by Freeze. Fantastic start to this match. Very intense and already 2 goals with TCD tying it up 33 seconds into this match. This is a much more high energy game than the previous ones.
Definitely seems that both of these teams are going for blood. 2 very quick goals in quick succession, for lack of putting it in better terms. It seems like both of these teams are just really going to go for as many goals as possible. Freeze with a nice save there, just in the nick of time. Panda with the ball, but Freeze again able to get the clearance, but not far enough. Tom is bringing it to TCD's corner, but it was that Nuss on the back wall, making sure it doesn't get any further for the time being. SETU are trying to pile on the pressure onto TCD's defenses. Maybe they're looking to have a quick final game here and round out the night for themselves.
Very true. It might be past their bedtime, and it is. We'll see if they're able to clean it up there. Freeze low boost, but does manage to knock it up, getting a nice touch on the ground there, keeping it way up in the air, giving his team some time to recover. Bit of a mess there in that corner. Nuss with a great touch there, slotting it top left, and actually getting the lead for Trinity with plenty over half of the match left. So this is 3 goals in this amount of time is the big jump from the previous game. So I'm excited to see what happens now. We'll see. SETU might be pushing a bit too aggressive, or maybe they're it's too early in the game to tell, to be honest with you. But that is something that you've always got to be careful of. Not letting ego take over. That is the one way that my team was able to beat this SETU team, was that they went with a 0 boost against us. But nonetheless, 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. TCD is keeping the pressure on here now. Tomster tries to get it clear, drops it, but Panda's able to get the second touch there back up. And Nuss is able to take his time here in the corner, though. does hit the ceiling. Bit too much power on that first touch. Panda over to the corner. Tom keeping it up in the air. Waffle goes for the clear, but Shallow is able to block it. Staying over on Trinity's side. Panda making a good choice there, not pushing up without their boost. Now Tom leaving Freeze in an awkward position where Shallow is almost able to finish it off, but is caught with low boost. But it is 3v3s. So, in threes, you'll get caught with low boost all the time. There's 6 people in the match, on the pitch. There's only 6 big boosts, so it'll happen. Just under 2 minutes left. Trinity still up by 1 point. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, if Trinity can hold onto this lead for just 1 minute and 49 seconds, they could be in a chance to take a second game from SETU, but SETU not making it easy for them, trying to pile on that pressure, trying to squeeze their defense a little bit more. Nice touch from Tom, a little bit off target. TCD are going to get the clearance back towards the midfield. Back towards SETU's side of the pitch. Apologies. Trying to score another goal, give themselves that little bit more wiggle room, that little bit more of a cushion in this game. SETU now trying to go on the counter offensive. Tom in the corner trying to get it centered for his teammate, but not quite being able to do that. TCD making that difficult for him. Trying to, that was a shot from very far away from TCD, but it almost worked for them. Somebody getting in the way of that at the last second. Panda with a nice demo. Back to Freeze. What can he make of this? Oh, very close to getting another goal for TCD's side, but just SETU's defense in the way at the last second there. Nuss on the ball, full boost. What can he make of it? Going to go up for it, but looked like a miss on SETU's side, going up in the air for that ball and not quite getting a touch on it. Freeze able to finish the job for Nuss. 3-1 TCD potentially here going to take a game 2 from SETU. 34 seconds left on the clock. Can SETU manage to score 2 goals in quick succession in this game?
We'll see if they are able to, because they definitely have the talent, but will they have the luck, which is always an important part of Rocket League here. Tomster trying to keep the ball close, but Nuss with a great early challenge. 5 seconds left. I don't think they're going to be able to do this. They're caught with a low boost, trying to get it over at least one for the road, but it does hit the ground, and Trinity does take a second game, making it 3-2. Now, it is still series point for SETU, but Trinity has definitely shown that they're not to be left in the dust. They have the talent to back it up, and this team has some great chemistry. I will say there that goal from from Freeze, that was fantastic. I mean, to be able to trust enough to have a double commit that strong, that's a show of some good chemistry there. But here we are now, going to game 5. I wonder how this one will go. Will SETU take the lead and finish the series, or will Trinity bring us to a 7th match?
Yeah, game 7 looking more and more likely now, as TCD have taken 2 games from SETU. They got a bit more wind in their sails for sure. They're going to be feeling that little bit more motivation. But again, like you said, it is game point to SETU. They just need one more game to close this series out and secure that position in the grand finals for themselves. Who can take the win in this game? 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Who will make the deciding move? Who will make the clinical error that will cause their opponent to take the lead first?
That was a bit of a risky play there from Panda. Keeping the ball close, of course, but that was a very slow movement, just almost in front of their net. We'll see if that paid off. Great goal line save there now Freeze must be a bit disappointed from that. Shallow keeping the pressure up, but they weren't able to finish it. Panda tries to get the air dribble up, but a great early challenge from Trinity is able to stop that. Fantastic control there from Waffle, keeping the ball close and delaying that second dodge to get the power. Now it is left in the air. SETU sends it up. Panda tries to read it, keeps the ball close, gets a pass, going for the fake in the 50s. Still gets another touch, leaving it mid. Tomster gets a flick, but that was a fake challenge there from Waffle, who does go for the boost. Tomster waiting on the wall. It's an interesting touch there, off to the side, off straight up in the air. Sorry, but now Panda a bit low on boost, goes for the 50 and dodges the bump. Just over 3 minutes left on the clock. Freeze going for the pinch. Everyone has got to go for the pinch anytime the chance does come up. Great bump there from Trinity's side to stop that attack from happening. Freeze on the sidewall. Tries to get the ball close, but a bit of a missed touch on that first jump. Almost an own goal there. Shallow, a bit awkward. The goal is empty, and he gets the goal. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. SETU is up by 1. That is top level Rocket League right there. Caught awkwardly and reversing into the ball for a goal.
Yeah, that was a nice save from Waffle, but I don't think he really expected Shallow to get that shot off and score a goal as well. Definitely top tier Rocket League this evening, getting in at those weird angles, really getting into your opponent's head, I should say. Is you gotta make the most of those situations, which Shallow has done, but TCD trying to pile on the pressure. Nothing's gonna happen for it the time being. Tom trying to get Waffle to challenge, and it worked out in Tom's favor. Freeze off the wall, bringing it back towards SETU's goal line. Looked like Nuss was trying to follow that up, but didn't quite get there in time. Nice little fake from Waffle there. Back to Freeze. And Tom almost getting a touch, but it doesn't really matter because Freeze is going to hit the crossbar on that one.
Oh, that one was a bit heartbreaking to see. I'll say Trinity almost had that. Those two fantastic fakes to get them past, but Freeze is not able to finish that one off. They're still on the attack though. Panda now going backwards. That seems to be Setu's strategy for this match. Panda with a great fake challenge there. Just under a minute and a half left on the clock. Waffle going for a delayed shot, but Shallow does read it and gets the second touch there. And over Freeze, just unbeatable. Ball is left mid. Panda with the 50. Freeze at least stopping that one right there. Up on the wall, just over a minute left. SETU just needs to hold this to take the series, but Trinity needs this to keep themselves in. 1 minute left. What will happen now?
Yeah, it is a case of... I was going to say something, but it's become irrelevant now. Panda going to almost seal TCD's fate now. 50 seconds left on the clock. Not looking like TCD are going to have many opportunities to score goals on SETU now. They've gotten close so many times in this game alone and just looking like SETU are trying to prove a point that they are putting the final nail in the coffin now in this series. 2 goals from Panda, quick succession, 3-0 SETU. It's looking all over, folks, unless TCD can manage to scrounge 3 goals from SETU in very limited time and bring this to an overtime game.
There are indeed 30 seconds left. That was a fantastic shot by Panda, by the way. That's probably one of the most mechanically challenging shots there. You know, it's a ceiling shot, but it's a ceiling shot double tap, and Panda wasn't the one who initiated it, and that's a fantastic one. But here, 5 seconds left on the clock. This is going to SETU. Trinity trying to take one for the road, but Nuss does save his own teammate shot. That's a perfect This Is Rock League right there. That's a fantastic first series for the night with SETU taking the win, showing their skills. That was a fantastic series, I will say. SETU obviously showing everything that they could do, but Trinity did not back down. They held on until the very end.
Yeah, Setu coming out victorious, moving on to the grand finals, but seemed that there was a game in there that everybody was having a bit more fun rather than taking it as seriously as maybe they have done in the past. Definitely nice to see that they're able to kind of loosen the reins a little bit and have that little bit of a tussle with those interesting car choices for sure. We will be back in a couple of minutes for the next matchup, which will now be, it's now decided that it will be TCD versus Maynooth. But before we do, I would like to take a brief moment of your time to thank our wonderful sponsors that make what we do here at Ireland Esports Collegiate Series a possibility. So a big thank you and a shout out to Reraw, Dogpatch Labs, and KOKA. We will be back to you in just a few moments. Welcome back to Ireland Esports Collegiate Spring Series 2025. We have for you TCD versus Maynooth Martyrs, potentially Redemption Day Take 2 for Maynooth. They, of course, have faced off against TCD three weeks in a row now. So definitely know their opponent well, definitely know how well they work in this best of 7, and it's looking like Maynooth are going to open up the game very quickly. 1-0 to them already with only 15 seconds? I think my math is right on that run.
Yep.
That one. 15 seconds into this game, we of course have a substitute on the side of Maynooth. It is not Kralik playing this evening. It is Light. Forday, how are you feeling about this matchup? I know that I'm throwing you under the bus because you haven't watched either of these teams play this season, but
Sure.
based off what you saw with TCD versus SETU already.
Yeah, vibe check already, you know. Sure, Nova is the only name I think I can say with confidence that I recognize, but I remember them being quite good. Um, but sure, we know I know TCD now. They took 2 games from Setu, so that's already very impressive in my books. And considering it's a losers bracket, I still think this is going to be a good game. I mean, we're only a minute in, but it does seem quite evenly matched. But you know, Manuth has taken 2 goals, I guess. Just a minute and 8 seconds in, maybe it's not as evenly matched as I initially thought, and Manuth will take it. But you know, too early in the game. Too early in the game. What about you? You know these teams. You got an opinion on how this one's gonna go?
It's tough to say. Maynooth have already lost twice to TCD. Uh, in this semester, we've seen them lose twice. We saw them lose once in the playoffs, which knocked them down to the lower bracket, and once in the Swiss stage that didn't end too well for Maynooth. There seemed to be some emotions flying high in that match, and as we all know, keep your emotions out of Rocket League, otherwise it's not going to end well for anybody involved. But Maynooth seem to be coming out the gate swinging. They've got 2 goals for themselves already, and definitely giving TCD a run for their money, giving them kind of showing them that they're here to stay in this competition. But it is a best of 7, so they need to be careful they don't run out of steam too quickly, as we saw in a matchup against QUB last week. It seemed that QUB ran out of steam very early on and ended up losing in the end to Maynooth. That being said, TCD have managed to scrape a goal off of Maynooth. Now it is just 1 goal that divides them, and potential here for a second to equalize for TCD, but Nova getting in the way as that ball drops.
Sure, indeed. Now, this is oddly enough, this almost seems more fast paced than the Setu match. But you know, I guess that just shows how much I know. But yeah, it's pretty good. You know, to halfway through the match, it's been a pretty decent game. You know, the Trinity has been trying to get this goal now to tie it up, but Maynooth is doing a fantastic job. I can tell they've got a bit more fancy flyers going around this match. A few more people going for a bit more mechanically challenging shots. But there you go. That's the and then there's the basic mechanics. But nonetheless, you know, the mechanical shots are the fun ones to watch. But minute 45 left. Maynooth is up by 1 point. Trinity is going to try to take this goal back. You know, this is match 1 of the series. Whoever takes this one will have a mental advantage at the minimum. Well, I guess they'll also have a point advantage, but also a mental advantage over the opposing team. And Trinity does not want that after the set 2 games. You know, minute 15 left. We'll see how this one will progress with Freeze going for the double, but it does hit the corner of the pitch and does end up rolling down. No bounces. Waffle going for the double. Freeze was able to finish it off. 1 minute exactly on the clock left. Game 1 tied 2 points to 2 points.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bit of potentially I can't think of the words. Apologies. Potentially a great piece of teamwork if communications were going the right way they needed it to be. Also, a nice, could look at it in the way of Freeze being able to kind of intercept that ball and read it very well for a nice individual play. But Either way, it is even Stevens once again with 30 seconds left on the clock. Unless one of these teams can score, it's potentially going to be our first overtime of the evening, which is always an exciting time, always an exciting place to be. Almost looked like there were potentially was about to be a Rule 1 there between Nuss and Freeze on their own backline, which could have really been dangerous for them. But 10 seconds now, the countdown is on. Nova in with a shot and beautifully done. Saw the gap in the defense there and just took it. 6 seconds left on the clock, and now Maynooth have the lead once again.
They do indeed. That's a fantastic patience right there. You know, I feel like a lot of people would panic in that situation, but Nova was able to take their time, position themselves correctly, and sure now Maynooth does have the lead. It is overtime. There's a chance, but it does get dropped, and Maynooth does take game 1 in the best of 7, the second one of the night. And now with Maynooth having that lead, flexing the 2 Season 17 Supersonic Legend titles. Jesus, Season 17. What season? Actually, what season is Rocket League on now?
We're Season 18 now, so
18 down. I don't even remember when I last played. I think it might have been Season 12 or Season 13.
Yeah, I played in Season 17 and got nowhere close to SSL. So no fancy badge for me, unfortunately, but here we go. Second game, first kickoff, 5 minutes on the clock. Maynooth are in the lead in the series for the time being. They're definitely going to have, the mentals are definitely going to be affected. They're going to have high spirits, taking a game off a team that's beaten them twice in a row, and especially the first game of the series, definitely going to be a lot of wind in their sails for the time being, but no time to let up. No time to celebrate just yet. They've got potentially 6 more games in front of them to keep their composure, keep their cool, and TCD not making it easy for Maynooth to score another goal on them. Maynooth definitely piling on the pressure now, but TCD trying to get the clearances away. Waffle, nice position there. Going to get a nice touch off the 50, send it back towards the midfield. Ryan taking possession for his team, Light bringing it into TCD's corner, but Waffle once again able to try and get that clearance. Nova not making it easy for them. Nice little flick over Light there, trying to get the defender out of position. Nova on the ball, Light trying to potentially go for it, but realizing he was nowhere near. Waffle on the ball, takes it off the ceiling. Nova trying to intercept in the midfield. Beautiful read on that ball. Freeze back with it now. Back to Nuss, who's going to get a demo. Waffle off the ceiling, trying to kind of fake out his opponent there, it seemed. Not going for the immediate attack. Now, Freeze back to Waffle. Getting a little bit fancy, trying to pinch it off the wall, it seemed there, but not quite working out in his favor. Back to Nova. It's an open goal for the time being. Now there is Nuss back on their back line. Back to Ryan, who gets a touch. Back to Nova. Nice 50 on the side of TCD, getting the clearance they needed. Freeze, but Ryan there able to intercept. Nuss again trying to keep it back towards their opponent's side of the pitch. Looked like Nuss was waiting for that boost to reappear, but it didn't. And yeah, it seems very even at the moment. Both teams are working very hard and very fast to get the ball up to their opponent's side of the pitch, but both defenses are able to lock down any attempt on goal for the time being. It's just going to be a case of a bit like in the TCD versus SETU match or series, I should say, where you were saying, Forte, that it's just waiting for your opponent to make a mistake rather than anything else. It's waiting for that mistake to happen and taking full advantage of when it does.
100%. Yeah, you know, I did say that's like, yeah, the high level of Rocket League, but that's really just Rocket League in general. As much as people might want to argue against the fact, a lot of the time you are in the rank you deserve to be in, and I guarantee you, if you get a bit of patience, you're gonna end up doing a lot better. Yeah, everybody will make mistakes at every rank, and if you can just wait for those mistakes, you'll do well. And you know, it's the way it goes. But nonetheless, enough random talking about Rocket League. We're here for the match that's going on. A minute 20 on the clock. Still 0-0, but it has been quite an intense match. Just taking a peek at the scoreboard here. There's not even that many shots. 5 shots in total across both teams. But, no goal. Yeah, cool. Second I say it, of course. Ryan puts it up there. I believe that was a nice, fantastic play right there. Waffle tries to get the save, but ends up giving him a perfect top right goal. Just over a minute left on the clock. Maynooth does take the lead. Freeze up over to Waffle, going for the musty, but it does fall a bit short. Keeping it on Maynooth's side here now. Nuss knocks it down to Freeze, who tries to get the touch, but Light does block it. Ryan keeping the pressure on here. Nova has to back up for the boost there, but it was a good choice there. Now with Nuss not able to finish that one up, Freeze going on the back wall, does knock it over, and Nuss gets a bump there, tries to take control here. A bit of an awkward jump off the side there. Light gets a great clear, knocks it off into the corner. Now Freeze. He's got the boost. He's got the ball. Great clear there all the way over, but it is sent right back. And Freeze has got with no boost again. Nova with a great touch on the sidewall to slow that one down a bit. Maynooth just needs a bit of patience here. Hold the line. 5 seconds left. Freeze with the last chance for Trinity here. Gets the reset. O's for the 50, but that was a double commit save, which is 100% worth it on those last seconds. And now Maynooth does take another game.
Yeah, double commit, double the chance of stopping it.
100%.
Nicely done on that back line. Maynooth 2 games up now in this best of 7. Definitely a change of pace as to what we've seen from them throughout the previous games. They've definitely had that momentum to win, but not this quickly out the gate, and not this quickly against such a strong opponent as TCD are, and seem to be their kind of kryptonite throughout the series or throughout the semester. But 2 games to them, they're doing very well for themselves and looking like it's gonna. Oh, I spoke too soon. It looked like it was gonna be a goal from Light, but just a little bit wide. And TCD are gonna take full advantage, sending it straight back to Maynooth's side of the pitch. But Nova is gonna bring it up. He's trying to make something of it, but Freeze in the way to stop that. Nice 50 from Nuss there. Low boost. What can Waffle do to get his team into a better position? Light on the ball. That sounded like I was saying he's Light on the ball. It was Light, the player, on the ball.
Yeah, we need to make a rule against players having nouns for names. Messing up the commentating, But yeah, no, sure. They're all quite heavy on the ball, I'd say, but that's threes. It's most of the time it's just one touches, big power, quick decisions. Light with a great shot there. Waffle with an even better save from an awkward angle. Nova tries to get it, but Waffle stops that one straight in the tracks. Freeze with the wall pinch, staying near the ball. Waffle over to Nuss, keeps the ball close, gets the reset, gets it over to. Almost is able to finish it off, but not fully. Keeping it center though, trying to keep the pressure on for Maynooth, but Light does get a great clear there with the touch and the reset. Ryan hits it center. Nova up, bit of a powerful touch in that first one. Still the pressure is on. Light knocks it down. Goal line save from Nuss. Trying to push it away. Freeze gets a great 50, wins possession afterwards, still holding it, and a third one, but does lose that one. and the team is left a bit behind there. Thank goodness Waffle was there though to clear that. Here's Light going up, knocks it mid, goes for a 50 with that was a bit awkward there now with looked like Nuss was shooting for the other side, but nonetheless goes for a great shot, slightly off, is able to finish it. 2 minutes 45 left on the clock. Great job there from Nuss. Great touch over to the side, just off, but was able to finish it off there.
Yeah, it looked like Nova didn't quite know what was happening in front of them. It seemed to just almost thought it had gone in before it did, and Nuss was able to take full advantage of no defender really able to stop him from sending that home. Now TCD in the lead, potential here for them to take a game from Maynooth if they can keep this momentum going, but Maynooth are not going to make it easy for them. Going to keep trying to pile on that pressure on their defense. Nice little touch from Nova back to Light. He's going to bringing it up, try and get a nice 50, but in the favor of a Waffle this time. Ryan with a chance, and there it is, securing an even Stevens game for the time being. Nice little finish there, and nice bit of teamwork. I'd say the communication there, comms is hot right now. They're all just, I'm putting it up and you go for it. A little bit of teamwork always goes a long way in Rocket League. Back to Waffle now. What can he do with this? He's going to bring it low. Nova trying to make something of it. Light going for a challenge, but going over the ball. And ooh, very close for TCD, but just over a smidge. Going to be hearing that new sound effect for the crossbar, which is so annoying.
Just making me happy I've got the game on mute. Yeah, no, that was such a close chance there for Trinity, and even I'd say a closer chance there for Maynooth, but just that split second where the communication was slightly delayed. That ball was free to be scored on. Great shot from Trinity, keeping the pressure on there on Maynooth. Nova with a bit of patience goes for the sidewall pinch. Now Freeze going up. Got a bit awkward there. See if they're able to keep the momentum up. Gets the reset, but Ryan reads them like a book. Stopping that one. Nova just getting the touch out. Trying to clear it. Ryan trying as well. The Light gets a good touch there though. Keeping it out of their side. Freeze sending it right back off the backboard. Light going for the read. Manages to get the touch just in time to stop Waffle from getting that free shot. Here, the ball is floating in front of Maynooth's net. They've got to be careful. Great clear over, but Ryan does miss the second touch. Now Light staying on the backboard, no boost. Really making sure that they've got that one position locked in. Does miss the ball, but Nova is there to clear it, attempting to clear it. Apologies. Waffle knocks it down. Freeze missing the shot. Now Trinity is just on the bombardment here. Maynooth needs a break. They're just all caught with no boost. They have to be careful here not to overcommit. 5 seconds on the clock. They just need to stay till overtime. I think they might have just done it there, giving them that chance. That is overtime now in match 3 in the series.
Yeah, game 3, the first overtime of the evening. It's always an exciting time, but who is going to take the golden goal? Who is going to secure victory in this game 3 for their team? Light making it difficult for TCD, trying to just control the ball, control where that player was going as well. I think that was Nuss. I could be wrong about that. Ball in the air. Light going to be going back up. He's on low boost, but gets a shot off. Not gonna trouble TCD's defenses too much, that one. Nuss on the ball. Nice little 50. Was left loose for a little second there in the midfield, but somebody got the clearance. Light back on the ball now, trying to get it into a better position, but Waffle, as per usual, on that back line, getting a beautiful clearance, but Nova going to intercept that in the midfield. He's going back up for it, but not quite getting the touch. Ryan there to pick up the slack, for lack of better term, Freeze, nice little 50. Waffle, not quite getting a touch on the ball, not quite getting the clearance back towards Manuth's side of the pitch that he wanted. Nuss is going to make an attempt for getting it back to the midfield. Waffle off the backboard, back to his own corner. Safety. Nova up with the ball, off the crossbar, unlucky. It was very close to going in and didn't look like TCD had anybody up in the air waiting to intercept that. But that being said, Waffle going to be going for a defensive play there. Nuss off the sidewall. Going to pass it back to Freeze. Nice little 50 there in the midfield. Back to Freeze again. He's low boost, but what can he do of this? Can he get his teammates into a better position? No, he can't. Nice little shot from Manuth's backline from Light, but not gonna. Nuss isn't gonna struggle with that whatsoever. Waffle off the wall there, trying to get a better touch on it, and there it is. Oh, very nicely done from Nuss, just chipping it over the defense there and into the back of Manuth's net. It's gonna be a game to TCD now.
It is indeed. That was a great overtime, to be honest with you. Both teams kept the pressure up the whole way, and it was just at the end we got a bit of a scuffed ending screen right there, at least on my side. Title's way over to the left. That's third game now, only halfway through this series. That is 2 to Manuth, 1 to TCD, I believe. So sure, this is still anybody's game. We're still at the start. We got to see where this is going, because both teams do really seem quite evenly matched. So I'm surprised to hear about the previous weeks.
Yeah, Manuth have definitely brought the power, brought the fire, the fury and the fire to this matchup against TCD to keep themselves in this competition. Of course, whoever wins this series will be facing off against SETU in the grand finals in a week's time, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but definitely Manuth trying to show TCD that they are here to stay. They are here to take that position in the finals against SETU and go all the way. TCD not making Manuth's life any easier taking that game from them, but it's still, like Forte just said, it is anybody's series at this point. TCD could tie it up to 2-2 and take it to the next game, and looking like that could be on the cards now. Nice little finish from Freeze. It's a nice pass from Nuss off the back wall, and Freeze there to clean up shop. 1-0 to TCD now.
That was indeed a great shot there. Good teamwork. That's what really matters at the end of the day. It's the teamwork. It's the friends you make along the way, and the ones that you potentially get angry at for own goaling. But we haven't really seen much of that so far. Here we go. 4 minutes left on match 4 of this series. Across the field, that's a goal for Nuss, making it 2-0 already. Less than a minute into the match. Great power off of that. Just impossible to catch up, but Nova does almost make it, but is not enough. Like I said, just over 4 minutes. There's 4 minutes and 2 seconds left. We are at our third kickoff. Freeze, full boost off the wall. Goes for the Arsenal reset and the ground pinch, but not enough to get a bit of air. But that was a fantastic setup. Almost was able to get away with it, but sadly was not able to finish it. Ryan off the backboard. Freeze with a great read there, keeping it over into the corner. Nova knocks it mid-light with a shot bottom left. Fantastic. Great power, giving them a goal, making it 2-0, 115 kilometers per hour. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, that was a nice finish there from Light. I think most players would have gone high with that ball and seemed to confuse Nuss on the goal line a little bit there, trying to get to it, just couldn't quite get there in time. Ball to Ryan, but there's nobody in goals at the moment. TCD almost could have secured themselves a third goal in this game, but not to be for the time being. Light back to Nova, but Nice intercept from TCD there in the midfield. Light back on the ball, getting a touch, but nobody there really to read that. Nuss on the ball now. He's trying to get into a better position. He was very close to dropping that ball down, but not quite at the angle he wanted it to be. No, with a nice touch back to his teammate in the midfield. Back towards TCD's goal line. Waffle there, as per usual, in his own back line. He's just been a trooper when it comes to defense this entire evening. Back to Freeze now in the midfield. Can he get a touch there? He does just before Nova did. Waffle now on full boost, waiting for the ball to come his way. Nuss from the corner, trying to pinch it there, it looked like, but couldn't quite manage it just at that moment in time. Light on the ball, trying to fake out the defense there, or I guess the attack, I should say. Waffle trying to bring it down into the center of the box. Defenders on Maynooth's side, making it difficult for that. Back towards TCD side of the pitch now. I'm back towards the midfield. Nice little bit of clearance there from TCD. Who is going to get to this ball first? It's looking like TCD are going to get there. Light in the midfield. Nice little touch, but teammate there, Ryan, is there to get the second, but not to be TCD, bringing it back towards Maynooth's side of the pitch. Potential here. They're in that danger zone we know and love, and we know what they're capable of when they are in it, but back towards TCD side now. Waffle on the ball, bringing it through the air. Fakes out the defender mid-air there. It looked like. I could be wrong about that. But now back towards TCD side. Nova in a position there, getting a nice touch, but not quite enough. Not enough power behind it, I don't think, to get it into a position past the defense. Yeah, again, it seems to have kind of petered out a little bit back to this back and forward game that we've seen a couple of times now in this series between TCD and Maynooth.
Oh no, that was. Oh, thank goodness. Sorry, I was a bit too locked in there for that. Just watching that one happen in slow motion. Just Ryan doing the accidental save, but Light was there to finish that one off, tying it up. That was a bit of a almost heartbreaking moment there, but thankfully they were able to finish it off. Just over a minute left, like you say. Maynooth does manage to tie it up. Freeze going for an early goal off that kickoff. Light sending it back up. Ryan trying to get the ball first, but Nuss is just faster. Light with no boost still gets the flick over, but Waffle does get the touch that is floating in the net, and that is 100% an own goal from the Maynooth side to really push that one into the net.
It has to happen at least once in an evening here at Ireland Collegiate. An own goal for the side of Maynooth. You hate to have it happen to you. You love to see it happen to your opponent. As always, as we see a little, this is Rocket League up in the top left corner. Maynooth now trailing for this game and only 30 seconds left on the clock. What can Freeze do with this ball? He's looking dangerous. The shot was there, but off target, off the crossbar. Crossbar acting as a fourth defender for the side of Maynooth for the time. Now back towards TCD's players. There is somebody there to catch them out, and off the crossbar once again. Can Waffle get to that ball? No, he can't. Back to Freeze. It's 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. The countdown is on. Just let the ball touch the ground, and it'll be TCD's second game in this series. It's 2-2. This is getting heated.
It is, yeah, but I will say they do lose some points for me there because that was very obviously just a drop of the ball. There was no attempt to keep it back up. Where's the spirit? Where's the spirit of Rocket League? Keep the ball up when that countdown hits 0. Doesn't matter if you're winning. Doesn't matter if you're losing. You always got to do it. That's the real rule 1. So they do lose some points for me there. But that was a fantastic game. You know, that was unlucky on that own goal to tie it up and then, or sorry, to give them the lead. But you know, it happens. It's Rocket League. We are now on to game 5. So see how We'll see how this one is gonna go. I will say I've been laughing at chat, just dicing Krolik, just saying Krolik was the issue. I knew Krolik was the issue. But I think they might have spoken too soon because Manu did lose that lead there. But we'll see if they're able to grab it right back. 10 seconds into this match, bit of a mess at the start in that corner. Nuss doing a great job to keep that ball, but was saved by Light. Getting a great touch there. Ryan keeping the ball over. Nice fake to try to go for the boost. Not sure if he got it though. Waffle knocking it down. Freeze going for the shot, gets it, but Light with a great save. Nuss gets the shot. Almost another save there from Manuth's side, but just not enough boost to finish it off. That was such a good attempt though from Light. Just caught there by themselves and wasn't able to finish it off.
Yeah, unlucky on the part of Manuth. They got the first save off, but the second, there was nobody really there in a position to stop it going in. There it is, though, very quickly. An equalizing goal for Manuth. Very quickly. That was impressively fast there. Indeed. For Manuth. It's even Stevens once again.
Indeed, there. Just under 4 minutes 20 left on the clock. On Manuth's side, and Freeze gets a finish. This is 3 goals in 48 seconds. A high-scoring match already. Great shot from Freeze, just catching Manuth a bit awkward there. We're already on to our 4th kickoff of the match. We'll see if there is another early one. There is a chance here now with Waffle reading it. Gets the reset, keeps it pushed. Nuss going for the beautiful shot. That's 3-1. Fantastic goal. Fantastic teamwork there. Great touch by Waffle. And fantastic finish by Nuss. Reading that perfectly and powering it down to the back of Manuth's net in just 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's looking like the floodgates have opened now. TCD trying to go for more goals. They know that Manuth has been such a tough opponent in this matchup that they know what Manuth are capable of if the goal line isn't as extensive as it is currently. They've got a bit more of a wiggle room now. They've got a bit more of a cushion to play with. They can go for those clips moments, getting those beautiful individual goal scoring moments, for lack of a better word. But now here we see Manuth getting a little bit scrappy on their defense. Waffle up with the ball, nice touch, but Freeze not quite able to read that in time. Back towards TCD's side. Nuss on the ball once again. Low on boost, trying to get Freeze into a better, Waffle into a better position. Apologies. Very nice shot from Waffle, but off, a little bit off of target there. Nova trying to get into a better position. Looked like a full commit there from Freeze. Really going for that with great speed, but not quite getting the touch he needed. Back into that danger zone. No, very close for Ryan, almost stopping that goal going in once again. It would have been awful if he had done it twice in one series.
It would be, but he does manage to just dodge that one just over halfway through the match. Trinity is up by 1 goal. Nuss off the sidewall gets the reset, but Ryan with a great read, putting the pressure back on the Trinity side already. Nova with a pinch. Not sure how purposeful that was, but here we go. Nice send up by Waffle. Light against the backboard. Ryan back over to Trinity's side. Great touch from Freeze, catching 2 of them awkwardly, but Light is able to keep the pressure on Ryan. Hits the backboard. Light does get a misread, uses almost all their boost to try to get to that ball and recover from that. Still does recover quite well, I will say. Waffle is able to keep the pressure onto the side. I'm not sure if that was a fake, but if it was, it worked fantastically, but they were caught in quite an awkward position. Great save from Freeze, and of course 100% a fake from Waffle there. Keeping the pressure on. at least attempting to. Great job there. Nova trying to catch up to the ball, but was caught a bit awkward on the sidewall. Decides to push back, which was a great choice. Trying to get the second touch, but pulls away now that Waffle held possession. Freeze flicks over Nova. Tries to go for another. Steals the boost from Ryan. Goes for the shot. Ryan is stuck there on the goal line. Now Trinity does have a chance, but does seem like two of them had gone too far back. Nobody was there to finish that one off. Ryan going for a loop all the way, but it is just a bit too high. Freeze with the clear. Nova with the interception over to the corner. Ryan blocks the ball. Trinity is still up by one, just under a minute left. Maynooth needs a goal now.
Yeah, Maynooth desperately searching for that equalizing goal at the moment, but TCD making it very difficult in the midfield for them, and just really just cutting out those passes, cutting out possession of the ball when they can. Seems to be the tactic for the time being. Now we see Light and Freeze getting a little bit of contact there. Freeze getting a nice 50 off the defense on Maynooth's side. Back to Waffle, who's going to be trying to bring it up. Seems like it looked like there were 2 or 3 of Maynooth's players in the one corner. Not a good place to be. Back to TCD's side now. Nova getting a demo. Nicely done, but not going to be enough. Looking like it's going to be a case of TCD are going to hold out towards the end, take another game for themselves, and the ball touches the ground. It's now 3-2 TCD in this series going into game 6.
We are indeed going into game 6 with TCD having that slight lead. It is now series point if they do take the game. But if Maynooth does win this next one, then we are going to the legendary game 7. This has been quite a close series, though. You know, we're on game 6, and now this is the first time it's been match point. So you know, both these teams, they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their lives. He said, I believe he said, this is whoever wins this is going to the finals to go against SETU.
Yeah, it could potentially be a rematch for TCD if they manage to clinch another game for Maynooth, a rematch against SETU, that is, or potentially a chance for Maynooth to play against SETU for the first time in the playoff stage. All comes down to whether TCD can tighten up their boots and manage to secure a victory in this game 6, or whether Maynooth will come out on top. Looking very evenly matched at the moment. No goals scored. We have seen goals scored in and around this time frame from both of these teams against one another. But Light trying to make TCD's lives difficult on that back line. Nova trying to get it back towards TCD's goal, but Freeze bringing it up to the midfield. Nuss able to intercept that, get a nice clearance towards Maynooth's side of the pitch, but low boost, couldn't do anything to follow up. Freeze making it difficult in the midfield for Maynooth. Waffle, beautiful touch. Not quite getting the second touch he wanted to send it towards goal. Freeze in the corner. Nuss able to follow up now, but is that Light is in the midfield. Ryan, apologies. Getting a nice touch towards TCD's goal line. Beautiful touch from Light, but a little too high for his liking. Nova bringing it into the corner. Back towards TCD's centered box. Nothing comes of it just yet. It seems like it's a back and forward ping-ponged affair. Both of these teams wanting to go for goals, but not wanting to stretch themselves too thin to stop a goal from coming in. And there it is, the opening goal for Maynooth. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock. The lifeline is there. They're still in this game. And Ryan managing to finish out that goal. Very nicely done.
Very nicely done indeed. Maynooth getting that first goal is quite important now, because in theory, all they have to do is hold the line and we can get to a game 7. But it is all dependent as well on how much Trinity is able to keep the pressure on. Almost taking a goal there. We're just over half of the game left. Trinity knows that they can take it all home, take it to the finals to go against SETU once again, but they do need to grab a goal. Freeze attempting get a touch off the sidewall there, but a bit of a pancake-esque move does end up with them losing possession. Nuss trying to keep the pressure on, goes over to Waffle, quick turnaround, goes mid. Ryan against Freeze, who is left by themselves. Still a bit awkward there. Both teams just caught. Thankfully, Nuss is able to come in clutch and clear that out a bit, give their team a bit of a break. Here's Waffle going on the side, going for a ceiling pinch, which is quite a hard move to go for, but was basically the only option at that point, considering the attack from the opposing team. Nova bouncing along the side, bit of a nose boop against the wall, a bit awkward. Here's Ryan up to stop the ball, stopping a quick attack. Nuss with a great maybe fake there. Waffle knocks it mid, back down to Waffle again, sorry. Freeze knocks it mid there. Nuss trying to keep the pressure on here now, but they have to be careful to not overreach with low boost, even though you want to keep the pressure on, because it just takes one mistake and there's a counter attack, and Maynooth could end up 2 goals up instead.
Yeah, definitely not a situation TCD want to be in, at least in this stage of the series. They're currently a game up. Potentially, if they can score 2 goals on Maynooth in the next 2 minutes, they wouldn't be having to go to a game 7, but Maynooth for sure making their lives difficult, trying to bring it out that far. Almost a goal there from Nuss. Nova not quite getting to the ball, but the crossbar able to pick up the slack. Nice little clearance from Light, but TCD in the midfield there, able to get a touch on the ball, make it difficult for the clearance to come. Waffle on the ball. Freeze coming up behind him as well, getting a touch. Nuss trying to send it towards goal, but Nova able to intercept, get the beautiful clearance back towards TCD's goal line. Nova in the corner now. Back to Waffle, who's going to stop that off the backboard. Looking like Nuss getting a touch, and oh no! There it is! The goal that Maynooth have been hunting for so long, to give them that extra little bit of an edge with 10 seconds exactly left on the clock going into this next kickoff. It's seeming all but likely, or I mean, more than likely, that this will be going to a game 7 now.
It is indeed. Just 5 seconds. This one is going to go to Maynooth. We have reached 0 on that clock. Maynooth takes it. We are at game 7, the final fight to see who goes against SETU, the reigning champions, in the finals. Coming up, now both teams, I'd say, will lock in like crazy. We'll see. Will there be mistakes made? Will there be rage? Will there be... What's going to happen, basically? That's what we're going to find out here. That was a 2-0 game for Maynooth, so the lack of goals from Trinity's side might be a bit disheartening, but I don't think it's going to be enough to break their spirit. They're definitely going to be putting their all into this final match. 5 minutes on the clock. Kickoff number 1. Nuss takes control of the ball. Early flick to get it over. Double commit from Maynooth's side. Waffle knocks it mid, but nobody is there to finish it off. Nuss with a great 50. Keeping the pressure on. Does get bumped. Is caught awkward. Waffle is last man back. Still doing a great job of keeping control of the ball. Now we are almost 30 seconds in, and that is almost all that time was spent on Maynooth's side. Trinity doing a good job of keeping the attack on. We'll see if they're able to keep that pressure on consistently. Ryan doing a great job clearing that over to the side. Now we'll see, just they're trying to keep the ball close. They're low boost, and that's really what you got to do. A nice little touch to bring it mid, but nobody's there to finish it. Freeze taking the ball. It's up in the air. Nuss gets the first touch but is blocked. Waffle, great fake, flick early, fantastic goal there at 1 minute exactly into the match. Fantastic fake there, great one-touch flick to get it in. Great move overall.
It was a beautiful finish from Waffle. I'm actually I'm stunned. I'm struggling to speak after watching that. It was just a beautiful moment of individual goal scoring talent. That being said, Light trying to bring it back towards TCD's goal line. Ryan with the follow-up touch. Nova trying to get the 50, but not quite working out in his favor. Nuss in a position of danger, but Light there to stop it in its tracks for the time being. But the danger's not cleared, and Waffle gonna get a second goal for himself. Nice little bit of teamwork there. Freeze getting the first touch, and Waffle able to clean up shop, get that second goal, giving TCD a 2-goal advantage with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left on the clock. Still anyone's game. We know how it is in Rocket League. Tides can change so quickly, but looking like Maynooth is trailing a little bit for the time being. They need to tighten up that defense a little bit more to stop TCD from scoring more goals on them. Nice little bit of a clearance there, but not enough. Waffle on the ball in a dangerous position. Back down to it was back down to Nuss, but I blinked for a second. Ryan has managed to score a goal for Maynooth. Beautiful little bit of finishing there, and has managed to claw back a goal for Maynooth now. It's 2-1 to TCD with 3 minutes left on the clock.
It is indeed. That was a bit of an awkward one for Ryan. I feel as though there was an attempt there for a wave dash flick, but it didn't work out in that way, but it still worked out in the end with the goal. 3 minutes on the clock. Trinity has the lead. They'll see if they're able to keep it now. Maynooth knows that they really need that goal. This is the final match of this series, no matter what the outcome is. Freeze off the wall, catching Nova, a bit awkward there, keeping the ball close, doing well. Tries to go for the 50, but a nice touch upwards from Ryan there is enough to get him over. Light off the backboard. Nova going for 50, but it is dropped in front of Maynooth's goal. Ryan doing a great job of defense. I'd say just maybe trying a bit to redeem themselves after the own goal, but they're doing a fantastic job so far, in my opinion. They just need to hold that line a bit while also really getting that defense out there, putting the pressure on Trinity. We'll see now. Nuss on the attack, trying to get Trinity another goal. Bit of an awkward reset there. Maybe it was an attempt for a stall, but wasn't able to finish it off. Light goes for the clear. Waffle reads it. Goes for the second touch. Tries to drop it down, but Nova with a great clear there now. From below, Ryan goes for an early flick. Is slightly off from the goal. It goes back mid. Waffle clears. Light going back in again, but another great save from Trinity's side. Bit of an awkward jump off the sidewall there for Ryan, but is left in a decent position, except Freeze was able to push it right back out. Now Nuss is making the decision to go for the ball there after, I'd say, maybe hearing the jump from Maynooth's side. Doing some great wall dashes. Great shot there. Goal line saved. It's really close. Just 50 seconds left on the clock. Maynooth needs that one goal to at least bring them to overtime for a chance.
Yeah, it's looking like Maynooth are trying to hunt that second goal, the equalizing goal that would keep them in this game, in this series, in this tournament. But TCD not making it easy for them. 30 seconds left on the clock. Beautiful save from Light. Back to Ryan, who's going to try and get it clear, but Freeze able to intercept that back towards Maynooth's goal line. Can Waffle get a nice touch? No, he can't. Ryan's going to get a beautiful 50 back towards TCD's side of the pitch. Light there, able to clear that ball back towards TCD's goal line. Ryan up in the air, but not quite getting the touch. But Nova there, able to intercept. It's 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. The countdown is on. It's all or nothing. It's now or never. Don't let the ball touch the ground. But TCD are going to stop it. They're going to take this game for themselves.
They are indeed. Again, I'm not a fan of that kind of move, but it is what it is. They did what it takes to bring themselves to the finals against SETU, the reigning champions, the absolute Goliath of a team. That will be a decent match, I will say, depending on of course a few things. That's it's always a different experience in person, but overall fantastic series. Game 7, close matches all around. Even that last one, 1 goal difference. This was a great night of games, and just got me excited for the finals.
Yeah, congratulations to both the teams that are moving on to the finals. It will be a rematch, SETU versus TCD next week. Of course, big congratulations to both to Maynooth, who brought it to a game 7 against TCD, a side that had really shown such dominance over them in the past 2 matchups, and Maynooth have managed to bring it to a game 7 and they just played really well. But of course, TCD will be moving on, and Maynooth are out of the series, unfortunately. Of course, we will be back for the finals, the grand finals, very soon, next week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But before we leave, I would like to take another moment of your time to thank the rest of our sponsors who make what we do here at Ireland Esports Collegiate Series a possibility. So a big thank you to Logitech, GG Machines, and PlayAid for sponsoring us and making what we do a possibility. And we will, of course, see you next week for the grand finals.